Okay, so I'm calling the meeting of the Millbrook Library Board of Trustees to order for October 20th, 2020, and it's 7 p.m. and we have a quorum this evening. The first order of business is to approve the September 15th meeting minutes. Are there any comments, questions, changes for those minutes? Hearing none, I move to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
I second.
Mark seconds. All right, and the September meeting minutes are approved. We do not have any public or employee visitors. I don't have much to report. I will report later on in long range planning committee, but I don't have anything in particular for a president's report at this time. So I would go ahead and turn this over to Courtney for her report.
All right, thank you. So I wanted to start off with a little bit of just how I've been doing a reopening update. Everything is still going well. I don't have anything awful to report, knock on wood. Everything's been going very, very smoothly. We have seen a slight increase in the number of people who come in without masks, but it seems to be because they genuinely forget them, not like to flout the rules or anything. So that's something that we have seen a little bit of an uptick on, but we do have masks here, and we just offer them a mask from the circ desk, and they put it right on, and we haven't had any issues there. I did go to the there was a director's briefing today hosted by Hudson, and there was some discussion about what might happen if our numbers go up in our area and potentially going back to curbside and everything. So hopefully this is not something that we're going to have to do. Our numbers will stay low enough so we don't have to do anything like this. But I just wanted you all to be aware that it is something that I am thinking about just in case worst case scenario happens and we have to go back to curbside or even closing our facility. So not a fun thing to think about, but.
Can I just ask, do they have a number set? Like, is it a percentage of community transmission, or haven't they made any?
No, so a lot of the talk today was about Governor Cuomo has been doing like the cluster things, like fight the cluster. And so basically within like a certain radius, there's a red zone and all non-essential businesses have to close down. Then there's another radius, which is a yellow zone, and it's like 50% capacity. And then there's another zone, which is like 25% capacity, or like basically it's zoned out. So the center of the cluster is where everything is shut down, and then like their surrounding areas are to a lesser degree. So if there becomes like a cluster in like Pleasant Valley, say, there might be a case where we had to close down or change our hours a little bit, but as of now, we're doing okay, which is good.
You still have curbside pickup, right?
Yeah, actually, the only people that have been using it so far are people that pick up for the fountains, but they still do pick up every week. And so far, we still definitely offer it, but nobody's been using it. But I've been keeping track of the numbers just in case we do need to go back. We have statistics of that for the whole time. So my next thing, just COVID-19 updates specifically, I wanted to give you an update on our quarantining of materials. So based on new information from the Oregon Board of Health, we shortened our quarantine time for incoming materials to 24 hours instead of 3 days. Previously to this, we were quarantined for 3 days and wiping items down before checking them in. But the new guidance from the Oregon Board of Health says that an overnight quarantine period of materials is likely sufficient, and 24 hours is even more precautionary. And this was not officially confirmed by the New York State Board of Health, but they did say that they agreed with it, basically. So based on this information, we have adjusted our quarantine time, and honestly, it's a lot easier for the staff because we were having to explain multiple times a day how long we quarantine materials for and why and everything like that. And so far, we switched over. I think it was like 2 weeks ago now, and nobody has had any issues with it. So that's my main update on that front. For building updates, our oil burner maintenance was completed on September 29th, so that's done. We do need to replace one of our furnace pumps. One of them broke the same day that the oil people were supposed to come anyway, so it's kind of good timing. But I walked into the building and I was like, oh, that's a new noise. What's that? So we figured it out with Scott's help, and we do have another furnace pump that's working as a backup, but I would like to get this one replaced. That way, if our backup breaks, then we're down to nothing. So if anybody has any suggestions for a company to fix this, I would appreciate it, because I'm
What
not
was
really
that
sure
that
where to go for
broke?
this. The furnace pump.
The pump, thank you.
hmm Our elevator inspection for the year was completed on October 9th, and we do get quarterly inspections, but this is like the big yearly one, and everything passed, which is always nice. I'm still working on getting our HVAC filters replaced. I haven't had any luck with Austin coming in, and he isn't responding to phone or text. I have scheduled an appointment with American Heating and Cooling, but they haven't come yet either, so I'm really hoping for them to come this week. So we're almost there with that, hopefully. For collection updates, Hoopla went live officially on September 21st. And as of 10/17, we had 26 patrons join, 36 items borrowed, and spent $66. And people really seem to like the ebooks and TV shows offered the most. And people seem really happy that we're offering the service. Just as a reminder, we did give Hoopla $1,000 as kind of, it's not even really like a startup cost, but it's basically like you put the money into it and then they take the money out as your patrons borrow materials, and then you don't need to put more money in until that $1,000 is used up. So obviously we're still doing fine with our circulation. Something that I wanted to bring up today is that I would really like to look into the digitization of the Bennett collection and potentially the Millbrook Roundtable through Hudson River Valley Heritage. So for those of you that don't know, Hudson River Valley Heritage is it's an organization where they digitize a whole bunch of local history materials, and the library actually digitized a portion of the Bennett collection around 2005, and it was significantly used. I talked to the woman Jen who runs the program, and she still had like the stats on usage, and she said for a small collection it was heavily used. The library stopped adding to the collection because the work was done by a volunteer, and when she stopped, there was no staff to take over, and the collection was taken down sometime around 2010. And I was thinking, since people are unable to come to the library and actually view our collection, I think it would be really helpful to publish it online, both for people who may not feel comfortable coming into the building or for people who live out of state and have a history here that they'd like to look up. And I would also like to look at adding the PDFs of the Millwork Roundtable online. I'm not sure if you all know, but we currently have a computer where patrons can search the files, but it's super outdated and not user-friendly at all. And I think there would be a lot of interest in the historical aspect of that. So the cost for this would be, it's a $500 startup fee, and then there's an annual membership fee of $240 a year, and an annual service and hosting fee based on the number of files we hosted. So I'm guessing right now we'd be somewhere between the 1,000 and 5,000 file range, but I honestly haven't like gone in there and counted or anything. But basically for 100 to 250 files, it's an extra $50 a year. For 251 to 1,000, it's $150 a year. For 1,001 to 5,000, it's $250 a year. And I don't think we really go above that. So I would like for all of your input. if you all think this is a good idea, if you think this would be worthwhile, I think it's something that people would be really interested in, and it gives us a way to promote our collection online, which would be really cool. We do have a staff member too, Rebecca, who does have experience in digitization. So I was presuming we move forward this, I was going to ask her moving forward to kind of take the lead on it, since she knows what she's doing. But Hudson River Valley Heritage they do provide training and support and software and all the stuff that we need to have this be successful. So are there any questions on this?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How much space does all of this stuff take up? I know is it in the Bennett room? Is it in that big closet?
Yeah, it's in the closet right now. So right now it's really tucked away, and you kind of have to know it's there to be able to access it. And I think honestly, just a lot of people don't know that we have it.
Seems like
you,
a great idea for
can you-
not a huge expense.
can you tell me a little bit about what the collection is exactly? What is in the collection?
So there's lots of photographs. I believe there's newspaper articles, like clippings about the Bennett College. We have yearbooks. I think we have like play programs. It's a lot of stuff like that.
And what would you propose somehow archiving or removing or finding another space for the physical material? What would happen to the physical material once it's digitized?
We would keep it just in the same place that it is now. I wouldn't want to get rid of it or anything. Obviously, it's historical stuff. And it fits where it is. I think it would just be really helpful for us to put it online in a format that's more accessible to people.
I think there was some discussion about maybe the Historical Society moving to the Thorn Building. Somebody knows anything about that? Then maybe all of that stuff would get moved over there, and then you would have that space for your, storage or whatever at the library.
That's an interesting idea.
I think it's a good idea, because when and if in that wonderful far off future, the Bennett buildings actually come down, it's going to spark some interest in preservation of the history of that part of our Millbrook tradition. And it'll be nice to sort of say, hey, and we hate to see the old haunted house go down, but here's our digitized program. And so be a good thing to have on hand.
Courtney, do you have sufficient equipment to do all that digitizing? Do you have all the scanners and things already that you would need?
So the Hudson Valley River Heritage, they provide the equipment for us, which I really liked.
Yeah, that's huge, because those scanners are expensive.
Yeah, I think we can borrow them for up to 3 months at a time.
That's great.
Awesome.
So the cost right now that you know of for sure is the startup fee.
Yep.
And an annual membership fee.
Yes.
But
which
then,
comes out to $740 to start it up. And then, the only thing that I'm not sure about is the additional service/hosting fee, which would come after that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Does anyone have any other questions for Courtney about this proposal?
Can you upgrade the storage fee as you go, or do you need to sort of make a judgment now? Okay.
Yes, no, that's something that's flexible as we move forward, and we can kind of control it a little bit more that way too. So if we said we only want to commit to like 1,000 files max, we could do that.
And then one last question, and you may have said this in the beginning, is it just a link on our site, or how does it work? How do people search?
So it will become part of the Hudson River Valley Heritage website, which is like a primarily a site for, I can send a link actually. Let me see if I can pull it up in the chat. So their site, it says, explore digital content from libraries and cultural heritage institutions that document the rich history of the New York Hudson River Valley. So it would be searchable on their site. We can link it to our website. They can also help us do like online exhibitions, which would be kind of cool. So if we wanted to feature on like holidays at Bennett College or something like coming up, we could totally do that.
Well, that sounds good to me. Does anyone else have anything that they want to ask Courtney, or before we make a motion to approve or make a motion?
I think I'm still confused. So like it's on their site, but people are going to be able to go there through the library. I think that's the part that I was confused.
I think that's kind of the nice thing about it, is because people can find it on their site, and we can also have it shared on our site. Like we can have a link to their site, so people can find it both through us and through their website.
Okay, good. All right, because if we're paying for it, right, it should be, funneled or channeled through and advertised maybe. Cool. All right. That's all I wanted to know. Sounds great.
So I guess the motion is to approve the startup and the annual fee for the digitization of the Bennett collection with the potential for also including the Millbrook Roundtable through Hudson River Valley Heritage. Does somebody want to make that motion?
I will.
Nikki, and do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And no opposed? All right, great.
Awesome, thank you. So I will get in contact with Jen and start moving forward on that and doing staff training and everything. And I think it'll be really good for our community and for people who are interested in our community's history.
Great, thank you, Courtney.
So my next thing is development and grant updates. I have the fall annual appeal letter drafted, and it's going to be sent to the printer later this month. Kind of in addition to that, I got my annual report to the community in the mail today, so that was successfully sent out. Kind of nerve-wracking to know it's out there, but it feels good to have that done, so that is officially done. In terms of finance, local library state aid funds have arrived from New York State to Mid-Hudson, which is great news. We should be receiving these funds by October 23rd. As expected, there is a 22.6 reduction in the state aid this year due to cuts in library funding. So that will be obviously something that will affect the budget a little bit, but altogether it could have been much, much worse. So Mid-Hudson technically has, I think, like 30 days or something to get this out to us, but they said they were going to do it by the end of the week, which is totally like Mid-Hudson. So an update on what the Friends are doing. The Friends are looking at updating the foyer on the Franklin Avenue entrance, and they'd like to update the carpet, paint it, add a new light fixture, and add 2 display cases, one for the Historical Society and one for the library. And there's been some discussion about moving the fire extinguisher box and fire alarm to allow for, I guess, kind of like symmetrical placement of the display cases. I'm not sure how easily this could be done, and I know the Friends have been doing some digging to see what the cost would be, if it's possible, why the fire alarm is there in the first place, if there's a reason. But fire code is very specific, so I have a feeling that it's going to be harder to move than anticipated. So that's kind of where everything is with that right now. We're kind of stuck on, can we move this or not? And if not, how can we plan around it?
Yeah, they want
but
those on your way out of the building, you pull the fire alarm. So.
Yeah, that's what I figure. I think you're talking to somebody who has a very bad experience with fire in libraries, and I'm like, well, if it's fire code, I don't really want to mess with that, and I don't think we should. So they're doing some research on that, though.
Which entrance is this? I thought it was the Franklin Avenue, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Mid-Hudson Library System updates. I attended the Sierra Users Group online meeting through Mid-Hudson to see what's upcoming for our Sierra, our integrated library system or software. And there's some really great new features that will be coming out over the next year, such as improved cataloging for magazines, which probably very few people care about, but it's a big deal for us. And a new online catalog for patrons to use, which looks fantastic. We got a little bit of a demo at the meeting, and it's so user-friendly, and it looks clean, and it looks like it's good for 2020 and instead of like, I don't know, 2005, wherever we're at. But the online catalog should go live around the end of June next year. So I'm super excited for that to happen, and it looks very cool. So the only thing for my outreach, I guess not the only thing. The first thing for my outreach was that the annual report to the community has been sent to the printer, but obviously that's done. So we did have a table set out for National Voter Registration Day, which was very successful. Diana set that up. And we also have absentee ballot applications and early voting information available in the library for patrons, and we've been getting a lot of questions and people who are coming in asking for either applications to register to vote before the deadline passed. And we've been trying to help people out with that as much as possible. In September, we had a Diverse Reads Reading Challenge on Facebook and social media, and we had 7 people enter, which was kind of exciting. I kind of wasn't sure how that would go, so I was happy anybody did it. And the last thing for outreach, which is really cool, is we're currently holding our Millwork Library Halloween hunt. We teamed up with the Merritt Bookstore, Morona's, Reardon Briggs, the Millbrook Pharmacy, Millbrook Floral Design, and Juniper for this program. So kids can visit each store and get a sticker for their Halloween hunt sheet, and we provided all the stickers and everything. And when their sheet is filled, they can come to the library and get a pack of candy and a book. We've had a few kids already do it, and it was super cute listening to them pick out their candy. It was a big deal. So I thought that was a nice connection between us and our local businesses, and it's kind of like socially distant trick-or-treating during a weird October. So one of the things that I have up under patron concerns is we had a patron request to bring a service dog in training to the library. And our current policy states that patrons shall not bring pets into the library. Licensed service dogs are permitted with proper proof of certification. However, this patron pointed out to me that New York state law says that the state CRL provides the same right of access to the trainer of a guide, hearing, or service dog as it provides to a person with a disability using such a dog. So I just wanted to propose that we update our patron code of conduct policy to allow for service dogs in training to enter the library so that we're fully in compliance with the New York state law. So that was kind of my second thing to approve for the night.
Right. Does anyone have any questions about that update or change? Does that make sense? Okay, so I would move to make the change to our patron code of conduct as laid out, as listed here, that Courtney has, the wording that Courtney has provided to update the policy. Is there a motion to move that we accept the change?
I make a motion to change.
Sorry?
I make a motion to accept the change.
A second?
Second.
Michael?
Michael beat me.
Michael,
All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. That'll make the patron very happy. And when she brought it up to me, I had no idea that that's what New York state law said, and she was very nice about it. So I was like, I'm glad we can get that fixed. Under personnel, Olivia Iannucci has resigned from her position as library page. She left to go work in some restaurants, which is pretty exciting, and it was a kind of a big step for her, so we were really happy for her. Rebecca has taken on her extra hours, so we didn't look to hire a new page or anything. Rebecca's just been taking her hours instead, which has worked out great so far. For programming, our programmings have really been picking up. We've had a really great response to our online programs and the teen craft programs that we've been running. Abby's been doing her bi-monthly arts and crafters and science worm programs, which have kids signing up for, as well as her virtual storytime recordings, which are very cute if you haven't seen them already. They're on YouTube and they're adorable. Terry has come up with some awesome ideas for the Teen DIY Craft Club, which is where teens can basically sign up online, come and pick up their kits, their craft kits from the library, and do them at home. As well, she's come up with additional crafts for October and November, and we had 15 teens sign up for the September Craft Club, and we have 12 signed up for the October one. And for teen numbers, that is phenomenal. So we've really found something good there. We've also been collecting food as part of the Great Give Back, and we've already had one pickup of food because our collection cart was full. Jody dropped some off today, which was super nice, and I got to show her the cart. We've had a really great response from the community, and if you could personally tell people about this, I would appreciate it. I think it's part of the Great Give Back, which is a New York statewide initiative to give people an opportunity to give back to their community. So the official date was October 17th, but we're doing it through the whole month of October to collect as much food as possible. So it's really funny. Everybody keeps saying that it's the most food that we've collected for a food drive, even when we did like the Food for Fines food drives, which I thought was pretty funny, but I'm glad it's going so well. We also made cards for the residents of the fountains as part of the Great Give Back, and I think we ended up with like 25 cards or something like that. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but it was enough for all of the long-term residents to get one, which was very nice. For sustainability, our first meeting of the Millbrook Library Sustainability Team is tomorrow at 4:30. So that's super exciting. I'm meeting with Ethan, who is part of the Green Business Certification process tomorrow, just to go over some details before the meeting. And if you'd like to join the team, let me know. It's going to be a little tricky to schedule them, I think, at a time where everybody can meet, but we're going to do our best. Oh, hold on one second. All right, sorry, we had a door lock question. So my next thing was for Unionville. Restrictions are still in place. We've heard no updates from the town of Unionville. I had one patron call me asking for more information, and I answered as many questions as I could. But generally, the consensus is the frustration is with the town, not with the libraries. So there's no really updates on that. For the website, that was the third thing that I had on my list of things to get approved. So Jillian has done a super great job redesigning our website. She offered to host it. Currently, Hudson hosts it, which is good, but I'd kind of like to be able to make a lot of the changes ourselves and not have to ask them to update things. So Jillian offered to host it, which was very generous of her, but I really would like to host it ourselves. This allows us to have full control over the site and make updates without asking other people. So the cost to host our site on WordPress is $8 a month or $96 a year, which I think is very reasonable when you consider that we'll have full control over our website design.
Makes sense.
And you guys obviously know how to use WordPress and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing most of the updates that I can do myself. It's just there's some stuff that I don't really have access to.
Okay, so we would like to make a motion to approve the website hosting at $8 a month through WordPress.
I can make that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, no opposed. All right.
Who made the motion? Who made the motion?
Cecilia.
Cecilia, and who seconded?
Mark.
Thank you.
And then the rest of my report was just statistics and meetings and stuff. So that's pretty much all I have.
Sounds good. Does anybody have anything they want to, any comments or questions for Courtney on her report?
Everything sounds amazing. Just saying.
Oh, thank you.
It's really,
Yeah, and the mailing
Fun
looked
to
great.
see.
I read it sitting on my counter, and I looked really good, Courtney.
Ah, thank you. I was so nervous when I saw it in the mail.
Did you do the whole thing yourself?
I took what I saved, like the template design that was used in previous years, and I just rearranged it a little bit to make it fit what we needed. So I can't take credit for the design, really. I think that was Stephanie, but it worked really well.
Looks great.
I haven't gotten mine yet. Okay,
hopefully
so
within the next couple days.
yeah. We don't have any communications or correspondence that I'm aware of. So the next report would be Mark and the financials.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And first, I just want to say, I don't know if it was just how the meetings went before, or if, the library was just being open in the morning and closed at the end of the day, but now it just seems like there's so much going on there, so many programs and activities, and I just love listening to Courtney's reports. It's great. It feels like such a lively, exuberant place, even in the middle of this. So thank you, Courtney.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. For the financials, this is going to just be mainly a review of the August numbers. That's just the time frame in which we get the data back and everything like that. So it just with how everything is, our income is kind of about where it was last year. We might have dropped in the Unionville funding, and it seems like maybe next year we'll be dropping in the state funding, and our operating income's down, but we are up for grants and contributions, so that kind of just puts us where we are. And then further to offset that is our expenses due to lack of staff hiring at the beginning of the year, and just, you know, library related expenses are down. We didn't, you know, really get going again until May or June. So our net ordinary income is up for the library, so we're in a good position. I mean, I know budgeting will be different because we're not going to be able to really look at this year in terms of making our plans, but otherwise we're definitely making it through the year. There's no difficult or challenging decisions to be made, which is nice. And our balance sheet, all our accounts are up. You know, the Friends, they haven't you know, done their the FOIA yet, and our checking account is up. Just one bit of business I was keeping up to date with, and Courtney updated me, and so did a CFO at the bank. When we received the funds on August 3rd for the PPP loan, the forgiveness deadline is not August 31st. It's actually 24 weeks since you received it, and Courtney said, yeah, so once we work through those funds, then we'll do our forgiveness. It's not until January, so we're not constrained in that sense. So that's it for the financial report. Then has everyone had an opportunity to, we had 3 cycles of bills. If everyone's reviewed them, I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills for September 17th, October 1st, and October 15th. Anyone want to second that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Can I have the dates again? I'm sorry.
The bills are September 17th,
Okay.
October 1st, and October 15th.
Okay, and who made the motion?
I guess I made the motion.
We made the motion, okay.
Yeah. And I missed who seconded it. I don't know.
Jody seconded?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
And then in terms of the overall financial reports, this would be the reports for August 2020. I'd like to make a motion to approve them. Anyone would like to second it?
I'll second.
Okay. And I mean, maybe I should have just emailed Courtney, but if you guys want to spend more money locally, you don't need to do so much purchasing on Amazon. I don't know. Feel free to look for alternatives. Does that kind of make sense, Courtney?
Yeah, we definitely try where we can to purchase from local business. Like I've been getting a ton of books from Merritt's lately, just because they're faster, honestly.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, I just want to, as long as you're thinking about it, that's fantastic.
That makes me so happy to hear that you buy books from there instead of ordering them, because Kira is so supportive of our community, and it's just really nice if we can do that, you know, back.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I place my regular monthly orders with Baker and Taylor, but there's always something like that I miss, or that something that like sneaks up as a bestseller, and so she's my go-to for that.
Yeah, and then even too, for I know you looks like you pick up some things from Reardon and Briggs, but they'll do special orders for you and everything like that as well. So if there's just supplies you need around the building, you know, it would be a good option too.
Definitely. Okay.
All right, the financials. And then move on to the committee reports.
Sounds good. So first up, building and grounds. Is there anything that you want to report today?
No, I do not have anything to report today.
And next we have development, fundraising, anything there that needs to be discussed or brought up? Okay. Long range planning. Thank you to Carrie and Kay for joining Matt and I on that committee. And we're going to be starting our work to come up with our next 3-year plan, which we will plan to present a draft for approval at our February 2021 annual meeting. And our first step is going to be surveying the community. And Courtney is going to be working on coming up with some questions, and our committee will start that whole process soon. So more to come on that. Anything from nominating committee to? And I don't have anything for personnel or policy, so that takes care of those. All right, is there any new business or any other topics or comments that people want to bring up tonight?
I've seen they've broken ground in Armenia on their library. I don't know, they're doing a big addition.
Oh.
I don't know, exciting. I work a lot in Armenia, and the back of their building is, I kind of see that all the time, so.
I drove by, I didn't see it, but I didn't pay attention either.
It's all behind their building. I think the front of their building is like, it's like a little, it's like smaller than the bench. Yeah, it's teeny tiny. So it's all out the back, and land's been donated and stuff like that. So.
Oh, that's.
Is there anything we could give them? I mean, will they need stuff? And we're weeding out so much stuff. Would they want anything from us?
I don't think they would want anything that we're weeding on.
But is there something we can do as a library? Like, I have no idea. Something we need to think about. I don't know. No idea.
If you want, I could reach out to their director and ask.
All right. I just wanted to mention it. It wasn't a real, it was just a library related thing. That's all.
Great. Courtney, do you have anything else that you want to discuss or bring up to the board this evening?
I think that was about everything. I might think of something 5 minutes from now, but as of now, I'm all set.
Well, you can always email us. So our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no,
sorry,
okay.
Jody. I did remember. Please, if you haven't turned in your sexual harassment law prevention form thing, please get to me that as soon as possible. That was the thing.
Okay. So we have on our next meeting scheduled for Tuesday, November 17th. So plan on that, and I'll check in with everybody as the date nears to make sure that we will have a quorum that evening. But hearing no other business, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:42.
I'll second it.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you, Mark. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, George.